This is Dr. Z, Sean Zimmerman, PhD, helping professionals live and author life like never before. I was resting, and the whistle of a train kept making its way into my somnolent thoughts. Ever had that happen? That train reminded me that we are all born on one of two tracks. One track is the pleasing and caring for others track, a way of organizing life where not offending others in relationship is key to our survival. Almost like we are driven by an instinct to please and satisfy and not disappoint others. Others of us are born on the other track, a track where our own wishes and perspectives are the right and necessary path of life. Those of us on this track organize our lives by requiring others to get on track with us, which feels essential to our survival. Perhaps some of us have learned or were born with instincts that are fickle, bouncing back and forth between serving our need for not engaging conflict, for supporting others, and our other side of strong demands for meeting our own needs, our wants, and our perspectives of what matters most. But on further inspection, we find that most all of us appropriately spend time on each of the two instinctual tracks, regardless of our inclination. Sometimes a person who is driven, type A at work, is super accommodating at home with spouse and children. Another example, Mary, since she was a little girl and well before marrying Phil 10 years ago, Mary consistently defers to others' wishes. When asked what she wants from food or vacation, whatever it is, she responds without clarity or defers to what she thinks others want. And for the most part, she does the same with Phil. But there are times where Phil finds he is married to someone who seems very different than the Mary he married. She is opinionated, demanding, and assertive. Phil used to think this temporary state was tied to menstruation, but in truth, that was not the clear cause when examined closely. At times, she feels fed up, exhausted, undervalued, disappointed, angry, and sometimes she needs to protect their son from Phil's stern grasp. On a side, many times Mary's change in the way she organizes her life from being overly accommodating to being assertive and demanding have very little to do with Phil at all, which Phil is still learning. Sometimes it really has to do with the response she has to her own father's inflexible role when she was a child. But now Phil, on the other hand, fits with Mary quite well most of the time. He's expressive of his desires and expectations. Mary never has to guess what he's thinking or what he wants. And if challenged, he stands so firm, few would convince him otherwise. And yet Phil, too, inside, is not always certain. He has fears and questions his values, especially when business is down. He knows there are downsides to even what he is asserting and what serves his purposes at this point. To the point, as a leader, in your career, in your marriage, and in your partnering and parenting, if you are growing, developing toward getting ever more improving results, happiness, and success, it is because you intentionally organize your own instincts, regardless of your primary track, and intentionally influence the instinctual tracks of others. Let me say that another way. If you are becoming even more effective in life, it is because you are noticing your own and others' patterns and correcting course in line with your long-term interests. This is too important. Your success is dependent on noticing your own and others' patterns and correcting course in line with your long-term interests. But there's something more. There is a next level of adult development. When we step off the tracks of satisfying our own instincts to please others or to satisfy our own demands, it is like we have stepped off the traditional two-track path onto the unirail of a bullet train. Sleek, focused, unified, efficient, fast. Still, just like a linear line has two sides, we still balance our interests with the interests and needs of others. We just do it with a power, a precision, and speed most of us don't even know we have. Even though this development has been well researched, most of us live lives of reactions, with the external world and our own internal instincts driving much of our life decisions. What I believe I need more of, and based on my study and experience with others, what you too may need is a system that can achieve great rewards while avoiding a lot of the pain. A system that brings a simple reflection to most all complex of all dimensions, your relationships with people. We need a reliable and complex system that is simple and friendly to use. I will be sharing with you a system that I call compelling mutual respect. It is about becoming the catalysts in your life that you can live the life that is inside of you with the very people that right now seem to block your living fully. The objective is not to become a different person, to move from one track to the other, because Mary and Phil are beautiful individuals for who they are. Their children and their colleagues need the strengths that each of them bring to the family and to their respective career settings. The objective is to increase your perspective and flexibility so that you can achieve your goals more effectively and efficiently, especially the very complex goals of being in relationship with another person. Mary will not become a Phil based on this experience. Mary will be able to more intentionally draw upon her long-term interests to guide her level of accommodation and assertion. This will enable her to collaborate and achieve her long-term goals like never before, at work and at home. Mary will be able to do this as Mary, not as a reaction to her anger, her frustration, to sadness and disappointment, with an aggressive response that makes her feel bad later and she does not accomplish her long-term interests. And Phil will not become an accommodating Mary, but he will be able to choose to pause, rein in his assertions, and get better information and results when his long-term interests require making more room for the opinions of others and interests of others. This is your year to experience new velocity in your focus, direction, and authoring your life. I will be emailing you stories and reflections of intentional movement from reflexively living instincts to authoring your life. Finishing each message will be a call to action from the compelling mutual respect system. My objective is to provide a catalyst for you and myself to author life like never before. My mission is to stimulate and support myself and others driven by external, often unnoticed drivers to achieve self-authoring, a life of meaning, while still in relationship to strong external demands and internal drives. I will provide both video for a quick watching during a break or listening to while driving or exercising, and the transcript for a quick read. Please feel free to share this with friends you value. I would be honored if you share it, as well, it's in line with my life direction to support self-authored living worldwide. Is that too ambitious? My belief is that we live in a world that is much smaller in reach and hungry for connection, and that our dreams need to grow bigger than our region and nation to the world. And during the next few years, I look forward to learning from people from small regions of the world I would never have known about, and I bet you will too. Plan of action. For now, choose an area of your life where you want to have greater control, or at least more influence over. Slow down your pace in that one area of life. Perhaps you want to be slower to react to your kids or spouse, or more productive in a certain area of your life, or refresh yourself more intentionally to achieve more peace and happiness. As you respond in your chosen area of life, slow it down a notch and ask, what is my instinctive reaction to this situation? How am I organizing this area of my life? If this demand were a game, what move or action would I take almost every time? What is my reaction? Then compare that with the result you would like to achieve. Are they compatible? Next time, I will share what makes relationships so challenging when they apparently should be pretty simple and smooth. I look forward to hearing your stories this year of living and authoring your life like never before.